So who has hammer? I don't know who has hammer. Well, I guess this is Smith that's going first. Robichaud has hammer.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the World Financial Group Jim Sullivan Classic from Thistle St. Andrews Curling Club in St. John, New Brunswick. My name is Keith Rainth, and I'm joined in the booth with Jeff Stewart. Glad to have you here, Jeff.
Hi, Keith. Welcome. It's great to be here.
Because we have folks from Cornwall, England.
Is that right?
Tuning in. So I just want you to be on your toes here.
Sharp. How many curling clubs do they have in Cornwall, England?
I don't know, but they're having a party. From what I understand, I have sources.
So if they have one, they have a party going on.
They're having a gathering of some sort. I'll get into that later. Why don't you tell the folks who is playing in this women's final?
Well, in this final of the Jim Sullivan Classic, we have two great teams. One from here in New Brunswick, the Robichaud team out of Moncton. They're going to be throwing yellow rocks today. So in that lineup, we have Kendra Lister at lead, Nicole Bishop second, and Melissa Adams throwing third, and Sylvie Robichaud. I believe from PEI. I didn't catch the location for Team
Charlottetown.
Smith. Charlottetown. Throwing red rocks, Team Smith, led by Whitney Young, Sabrina Smith at second stone, Jane DiCarlo at third, and Veronica Smith throwing the skipper rocks today.
And obviously there's a battle for these teams to get here. Just quickly, in our men's final, we have Wayne Talon's team, Wayne and the Young Guns, I call them, because a great young team out of Fredericton is playing a perennial powerhouse out of Nova Scotia, is Jamie Murphy. So we'll be keeping close tabs on that game too. But on the women's side, after round robin play, the top 16s went on, and Jen Armstrong finished at 4-0 with Robin McPhee from PEI with 3-1, and then we had a litany of teams at 2-2. Where Smith was one of them, and that she was seeded fifth.
Wow. And
this morning they had a play because the top two teams got a bye to the semis.
Mm-hmm.
Smith wasn't as fortunate, but she knocked off Shelley Graham of Capel Winter Club 4-2. And then that put her into the semifinal. And her semifinal victory was over Armstrong, and a convincing win, 7-3. Over the undefeated a young team from is it Armstrong from
CWC maybe?
Yes.
Trenton? Yeah. So obviously a team on a roll here, the Smith team that's kind of got it going after a rough start on the weekend, but now rolling along, and sometimes that's easier, right? You keep playing and feels good, you want to keep throwing. So
well, that's it, and that's what we said. It's always nice to have a break if you don't have to play an early morning match.
Mm-hmm.
But I think one of the advantages by them playing that 8:30 quarterfinal is they get the feel for the ice again, and they get their weights down, and they came out very strong against Armstrong and get them. They got up early and they didn't let up. And they get the whole family and the gang here downstairs. There's a little picnic downstairs.
I saw that. Yeah.
In the lounge area at the Thistle St. Andrews here, so they're having a good time. And the only thing, talking to one of the parents, the only thing was missing was a barbecue.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I have to pack that for next weekend.
Yeah. So here we are. We're underway here in that first end.
Yeah, both teams are ready to roll for sure, and we've seen rocks already thrown in corner guard situation, and the Smith team has come around to the 4-foot, but immediately Robichaud is right on top of them because they went a little bit deep. So I'd say advantage Robichaud at the moment with the hammer, and Smith recognizes that immediately and wants to clean up some guards here. So, you were saying that they were playing, and sometimes as a player, when it's really working well, you really want to just keep throwing and keep making the shots. Sometimes it's a little frustrating if it's not going so well and you need that break. But obviously these folks have been going today and ready to play this in right away. So. And
Sylvie Robichaud, just to give her update, she finished with a record of 2-2 also. She had a big victory over perennial powerhouse Heidi Hanlon's team in the last game of the round robin to have a record of 2-2. And she played, she had a tough match. She played Malay, Sarah Malay there, and
here. Yep.
defeated them 5-3
Wow.
at 8:30 this morning. And then she just defeated Robin McPhee. And that was the last game to get done.
Did I see that score? It was 4-1?
That I didn't get that. No, that was Murphy.
I was going to say, if that's a low-scoring game
No,
for
that
the
was
swingy ice, for sure.
I think that was a 7-5.
Okay.
7-5 final.
Yeah,
but
typical with this much curl in the ice that the scores are a little higher, bigger ends might be scored.
Yeah.
It's difficult to blank sometimes.
and they had a lot of rocks,
Right.
a lot of rocks in play in that game.
That's what we want, though, as players. You like this kind of ice. It moves everywhere. It doesn't matter which side of the ice you're playing on. It's got a great speed to it, a great curl to it. So if you got the shot kind of lined up and you're feeling pretty good, it's not too hard to make sometimes. So you see a lot of aggressive play, and that's what we're seeing right here in this first end with the Robichaud team. They got the hammer and they want to score 2 right away. Got a couple of guards up front, control the 4-foot right now. So Smith team is going to try to clear this out so that they don't give up a big end, because I think early on the big end, it always feels like a rough start, and it's difficult to come back from sometimes. But most teams kind of try to gather themselves and keep it under control for an end or two till they get comfortable. So.
Well, and Sylvie Robichaud, a veteran player in here, and she picked up a great player this year, Melissa Adams.
For sure.
So she's loading up for the Scotties. That will be January 3rd to 7th. That'll be the provincial championship. It'll be in Moncton, New Brunswick.
Right in her own club, so she'll be comfortable there, I bet.
Yeah. And
that'll make it a little tougher for a couple of the other New Brunswick teams again this year. And it's always, she's heading into that event playing well here, getting into the final just before a bit of a Christmas break likely, and being ready to go at that, because everybody, wants to play well at that provincial time frame.
And Jane DiCarlo, who is the baby of the family.
Is that right?
She has an older sister, Maria DiCarlo, and Maria is the one in Cornwall, England.
Ah, she's the one that's
Well,
checking
yeah,
up on
she's
the
putting our
sister.
numbers way up,
I
our
see.
international numbers, because under 1 million people are viewing this. Okay, I just want to tell you that.
I got it, yeah.
Well under 1 million,
That's,
but it's under 1 million.
That's somewhat.
So Jane informed me that Maria was having a gathering.
So is Jane a curler in Cornwall, or just in?
Jane is right here.
I'm sorry.
She's on the Smith team.
I'm sorry.
Maria is
Maria.
in. Maria.
Yeah, my apologies, Maria.
It's all right.
My apologies. But it's great to have you aboard, and isn't it great to have this kind of support from Bell Lion to come here and look after this event for us and be able to stream it for you, so you can sit back on your couch in Cornwall and tune in, see how little sister's doing.
Having a beverage, maybe?
Well.
I don't know. It is Sunday night there,
It is
so
a bit late, yeah.
it could be a work day tomorrow.
So we just had a tick on a guard, but those yellow rocks are still up front, and Robichaud really has to be careful here, because if she rolls a little bit too far, she's going to open up that button, and Smith could sneak right in there and be looking to steal this in. So that's how quickly things can turn around from team to team.
And this is only 8 ends. Provincial play and national play downs are 10, but tournament play throughout the season is 8 ends, and they can go pretty quick.
She's kind of hung it out a bit wide here, so she's jammed, and now 2 yellows are in the 4-foot area.
Yes.
So we've just switched around. A few rocks ago, it was advantage Robichaud, but I'd certainly give it to Smith right now. If she's able to sneak around to the top 4-foot here, she's tapping the ice right about where she wants it. She wants to be half covering that shot rock and half in behind the guard, and that's what we call like a Christmas tree kind of configuration with 3 rocks in a line. And it's difficult to remove more than one of those at any time. So it's a nice setup if you can manage it.
So Melissa Adams there with her shot.
It's got a good speed for sure. They're on it, they're off it, they're on it, they're on it. Now watch it hook at the end here. This type of ice is really great for curling, because if you got that just nice speed, it really finishes hard right at the end here.
Well, the rocks have been as the proper terminology, from what I've been told, textured.
Textured.
Beautiful
Yeah,
shot there.
I know. I played with them on Thursday night, and I'll tell you, they were an adventure because they were curling quite a bit. They had been freshly textured, but they've kind of worn down a little bit over the weekend with lots of play, and they're just moving nicely for that shot right there. See how that's kind of angled up a little bit, and it's difficult to get to the nose of that yellow and to get rid of both of those rocks. So all she can really do is tap back one of them.
So we're into skip stones now. And Veronica is coming back to.
So I'm not familiar with this team, Keith. Have they done very well on the Spiel circuit this season? Or?
Well, now I haven't heard because that's your research department.
That's true, eh?
Well, Kevin Baban should have been informing you of that.
Yes,
no,
should.
But in respect to us, we did ask all the teams to send in bios.
Excellent.
And out of the 28 teams, none of the teams sent in bios.
I see. So there's a
they're not as.
It's that's a maybe that's a maritime thing. Everybody doesn't want to brag about their accomplishments.
Yeah.
It's one of the great things I like.
But what I was thinking, and we did have a discussion on this, and here's her first stone here.
Coming. It might curl a little bit. Oh, she's got it perfectly. It's coming right down to the back one. And she
nice shot.
One. Very nice. Slight tap back, but definitely protected. And I think Robichaud's going to try to do basically the same thing. She really can't do very much more, I think, than just push it back 6 or 8 inches. Might be able to get number 1 out of it. But her odds of getting 2 in this end are getting very low right now. So she's going to come with a little bit of weight, it looks like, from that amount of ice that she's going to take. So it looks like I would say she's going to try to hit it off of that little yellow one on the back there and blast the red out of there and roll a little bit over to our right.
And here's Sylvie's first shot for her in this first end. We've got a lot of rocks in play, and that's probably this is both teams that I saw in the semis. There was a similar MO.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Well, these days of this free guard zone and the ice conditions have really kind of not forced, but allowed many teams, well, maybe it is forced, to be more aggressive. Mm-hmm. You have to be aggressive, and if you are aggressive and successfully aggressive, you can take, you can put 3 or 4 points on the board in an end in a hurry, and that's how you get a jump on a team and you get going. The cautious teams these days, I don't find that they're as successful. So she's going to just chip this across and out.
Oh, nice shot.
Very nice shot in line 3.
And this tournament, obviously, it's in honor of Jim Sullivan and to awareness of mental health. Jim was an outstanding curler in his own right, world champion. Labatt tankard multiple championships in the province here. And what this tournament has done is brought the best of the best here. We had 28 teams overall, 18 men's, 10 women's teams. And it's really almost like a mini maritime championship.
Yep.
Because here you've got PEI represented, you've got one of the top teams. Obviously, I'm not going to be wouldn't be surprised if Sylvie's in the Scots final here in the province in a month's time. And you've got Smith, obviously a strong team out of Prince Edward Island. Mm-hmm. So it's fun. And then you had the Jamie Murphy team in Nova Scotia taking on an upstart team, but a very talented Fredericton team led by the veteran Wayne Talon, who with his expert, former senior world champion.
Mm-hmm. Obviously contending probably in this season's tankard for sure.
Yes. So here we are.
So we're looking for a very delicate shot here from Smith. She's got some concern because she doesn't have the hammer, and there's 3 rocks that she's looking at. She's, I think, going to attempt hit and roll off of this number 2 rock to the back of the 4-foot, I think is my prediction. Try to tuck behind and hide and potentially just maybe only give up 2. Looks like it's curling quite a bit though, Keith, and
Got some
catch
backing
the
back
inside of
there.
it and roll right through the house, I think.
Yeah,
so it'll
look
be
at
a draw
that.
for 3 for Robichaud.
Not the start that the Smith squad wanted.
Well, that's for sure. We're gonna have
But
to,
that's one of the things with you when you're getting a lot of rocks in place.
yeah.
But there was good shots. I mean, Smith had a good shot, but that Sylvie, that shot, her first shot was a beautiful shot. Now let's see if she can finish it off. And
But still only the first end, right?
Yeah.
It's, you've
got
seen
time to
enough of
pick
this
away.
stuff by now that you get a couple of guards up and there's 2 more put on the board. Get one, take 2, get 1, take 2,
Oh.
and suddenly you're in the lead. So
you've read the Steve Thompson book.
I've heard of Steve, yeah. No, he's a good buddy for sure. Another good member here at the club that's does a lot for us here at Thistle. And as I understand, he's got a little bit of broadcasting experience here too. So.
Well, there you go. That's his call sign.
This is a good-looking shot coming in here from Robichaud. Just going to nudge up against her shot rock, and she's going to be able to put 3 on the board.
And that does it for the first end here. And the men, in the men's final, Talon was able to hold Murphy to a single. So
After quite an awesome shot, I was looking over there, and I think he made a triple there, and forced him down to 1. I guess is
Rene Cormier has been throwing. He's a skip stone for the Talon group. Talon, as I said, the veteran on the team, he calls the game, but he shoots lead, and he lets the boys do the sweeping, and he calls the game. But Rene Cormier has been playing extremely well, as has the whole team. That's why they're in the final.
That's right.
And they defeated Grant
Ottershaw? Terry Ottershaw.
Terry's team. Terry with Grant and Mike Kennedy.
Well, it's a little difficult for us to see, but I guess it was only a 2-ender.
Well, that's not there. That's better. Hey, the Smith crowd.
For the Smith crowd.
That's all right. If you don't have the hammer, 2's not a bad score.
So Sylvie's going to go right to the 4-foot here, I would expect. She now has gotten her 2 to start the game and want to keep her team comfortable. She doesn't want to get risky, so she's going to go to the 4-foot right away and force the Smith team to get the corner guard game going and make some really delicate shots. But it's slipping in a little bit. That's not bad. Right to the top button, I think.
If you have a chance, folks, visit bellalliant.ca/TV1 for community channel schedule. TV1 is available to Vibe customers in Atlantic Canada on Channel 1. Vibe TV1, powered by Bell Alliant. I'm Keith Rains, and I'm in the booth with Mr. Jeff Stewart. And we're here. We've been here all week. Well, it seems like all week.
For you,
it's just it started Friday.
4 games each day. Wow.
We were doing we were putting in 12-hour days here. So
that's amazing.
Today's easy days, only 3.
That's amazing. It's quite a dedication for you to come down here in Thistle and broadcast this event for us. So thank you very much.
Well, it's just great to have like we have you in the booth. The game before, a good friend of mine, Jeff Lacey. Jeff Lacey, outstanding curler in his own right. He was former chairman of the Ford World Curling Championships when we had the women's event here a few years ago. So a very knowledgeable player, and actually a player who played with Jim Sullivan when he was younger. So it was great to have Jim and all the different gentlemen. Actually, we had Jeremy Millet's father,
really?
Arnold in the booth last night.
Nice.
To share his thoughts on the games and his analytical skills.
So Sylvie's, going to keep the pressure on here with some more rocks in the rings, tight. But it's a simple strategy to keep the other team coming after them. Smith has a corner guard that they put up on the first, and they want to make a little hit and roll in behind the corner guard. And just patiently making their shots, they should be able to set up a 2-ender here. But it seems to be over curling a little bit. and not getting the roll she's looking for, but still is effective because it stays in front of the yellow rock. And Robichaud will have to roll away a little bit to the left probably to make this. Oh, she's decided to go and get rid of that corner guard. Again, it's a nice, simple, straightforward strategy that usually helps a lot when you're up on the scoreboard. So this would be Nicole. Looks like she's curled over just a little bit too much, and we're going to get a nose hit on the corner guard. So I think Smith will probably go right in behind that right away. Don't get too many opportunities sometimes, so when you have a miss or a slight half shot, I wouldn't call that a complete miss because now it's yellow, replaced a red rock, but it's sort of a half shot, and you want to take advantage of those as quickly as possible. So if she can sneak around behind here, she'll be in a position of second stone and third. And Sylvie will definitely have to make her next one or be risking a big end. This one looks a little tight on the guard though. That's early in the game. That's that fresh pebble and those textured rocks you were talking about. Sometimes they just kind of grab it and move right over quickly. This weight was pretty good. But here at Thistle, if you what we call start them a little bit, you find out they hit the guards pretty often.
Talking about the men's play, just to let you know how they all got here. Jamie Murphy finished in round robin at 4-1. Talon finished at 3-2, and he was in a tie for that final playoff spot with Kendall Thompson. But they had a better draw to the button.
Yes.
Over the course of the tournament, so they got in. Murphy defeated Stuart Thompson in a very tight affair, an all Nova Scotia quarterfinal, 8-7. Talon defeated Mayhew 7-5 in the quarters, and they went on to the semis, and Talon defeated Odisha 7-2, and Murphy defeated James Grattan, who was undefeated.
Wow.
4-1. That was a very tightly affair to the seventh end.
A lot of good ones there.
Where Murphy stole two and put that game out of reach. So very well deserving teams getting here. The talent team's getting hot at the right time. Mm-hmm. And like I said, we'll be keeping tabs on that game as it's right next to the women's final here. Robichaud has an early 2-0 lead over Smith, and we're just nicely into the second end.
This is a situation here, Keith, that I try to coach juniors, and it's a difficult concept to get across. What I mean is a change in strategy. We had an early part of this end where Sylvie was going to peel the corner guards and keep things clean, but now she just had an opportunity being given to her essentially by a nose hit by Jane, leaving a guard in front of Sylvie's rock. So suddenly it's an opportunity to switch from a defensive strategy to offense. Mm-hmm. And in my coaching of junior teams, it's a really hard concept to get across in the middle of a game. Might call a timeout and go out and say, okay, this end we want to peel the corner guards. Mm-hmm. Well, you forget to mention that if you have an opportunity, you could put a guard on it and attempt to steal, and it's really, you get that from experience and play. So obviously Sylvie recognized that right away and has thrown up a nice guard at front here, and now has just spun this end around in her favor with taking advantage of that miss.
And something we've been talking about through the course of the weekend with different ones in the booth. I know my background, coach, I played some recreational curling, and we've been broadcasting it over the last few years, but my background is coaching university volleyball. Mm-hmm. And we broadcast the university volleyball, basketball championships, the high school championships, and they lose a lot of video. Videotaping games and stuff, and I'm sort of surprised. I really haven't seen that at the curling level, which would be sort of easy to set up a little camera and just say, okay, videotape the whole match and then say, you as a coach or even the players can sort of go through and say, how did we get in that trouble there? Remember?
Right. Yeah.
We were
I think,
that fifth end and they had 4 rocks and how did that happen?
I think you make a great point, and it's a great tool to be used, probably used a little bit by junior coaches. I know a lot of coaches will chart the rocks, and software that they have these days will actually show sort of the path of the rock.
Mm-hmm.
But you're making a great suggestion, which is to video the actual game, and you can see why a particular shot may have been missed, or maybe using a sweeping placement of brooms, for example, where you're sweeping in the path of the rock or not in front of the rock. And sometimes you can tell a player that, but
when they can
sometimes it's
see
best
it.
to show it. So there's we all learn different ways. I think there's about 4 different ways of learning, and one of them is to be kinetic, or actually to see it. And I think you make a great suggestion. It's certainly, I'm going to take that point forward myself as a junior coach, to try to spend that quality time with the team and sit down and look at a good game and a bad game and say, what do we do great here and what could we improve upon? So,
and it's sort of interesting. You look at situations.
Yeah.
And you go, okay, what do you think we should do there? And then let's see what we did.
Yeah.
Right? And they, oh, look at that. Because like you're saying about seeing, I was at a junior provincial tryout, and I was, I'm 6'4" now, but I was about 6'3" back then. And, I could block. I could block, and I was hitting. And one of the coaches go, hey, you're a tiptoe jumper. I go, what do you mean tiptoe jumper? And he showed me on video, because they were videotaping us back in the day. And I wasn't bending my knees enough.
So
and he said, you're bending your knees at 120. You should be it should be a 90 degree. Your biggest muscle group is your legs and your butt. You're not using them.
That explains why I had about a 4-inch vertical leap
too
as well.
Yeah, because I was getting away with that at my level of competition. He said, you have to realize you're playing against guys your same age or older.
Yeah.
You got to be able to get up there. And but the videotape, once I saw it, I went, oh my God, he's right.
Yeah.
I am a tiptoe jumper.
Yeah. So if Sylvie saw herself on this video, she'd say, I threw that one pretty good. She did. Very nice delivery, and nice release kind of coming down. Nice straight release, not what you would call dumping it or flipping it out or setting it. Maybe just a hair warm here, but really, really nice throw. She got a good guard, and it's going to leave a hole there for Smith to come through, though. And potentially, if she makes that hole, she'll definitely have a little bit of a roll. I would think anyway, and suddenly, just a key shot here and there. That guard, could have been over a couple more inches, but wasn't. And now Smith has an opportunity. That's the great thing about this game is it's kind of back and forth and
highs and lows.
The highs and lows, and as a player, you sticking with those, rolling with the punches when things don't go your way, but coming right back and taking advantage if you can. It's a great challenge game.
And that's another thing from a coaching side. If you're videotape the good,
Both.
do a little thing,
Sure.
do the good time when they're feeling down in the dumps and I'm not a very good player, and then you show them video. Look at that shot here. Ooh, look at that shot there. Oh, look at that shot there. And all of a sudden, you know what?
I'm okay.
I am a good player. Jeez, I made those shots. I am all right. I'm good.
Oh, it's got to be at least 50% psychology for sure. So look at that.
That's a nice
great
shot
there, and a little bit of a roll.
Oh, beautiful.
Yeah, and now Sylvie, I think, she might be able to see just a little piece of that, but really, I don't know what her, I think her options, she's got a couple of options here, Keith. I think she could probably come down and just draw in front of it and say, go ahead, figure out how to get 2. Because I've got a 2-ender right now. I'm up 2-1, but she's electing instead to make a run back. Now, this is a coaching opportunity.
Roar the rings. I mean, that's what they'd be doing.
For sure, but I mean, this is you always have different choices in this game, and
risk reward
for sure. And I think the run back here is a challenging shot. Particularly, ice is going to curl quite a bit. And I wish her luck here. But one opportunity could be just to draw in front of it and say, go ahead, there's your 1. Figure out how do you get 2. And with all those guards around, there's no real clear path to the 4-foot. But Sylvie's going to tie the more aggressive shot, the run back, and we'll see how it comes. It's looking pretty good. It's going to curl a little bit about now.
Keep an eye on that ball. And the line, she's starting to come over a bit. No.
So it didn't work out for her, and now the Smith team has full rings to draw to if she can find a spot to get in there. So that's I would take that as an opportunity or a situation that I'd like to talk to a curling team about and say, sometimes it's okay to just let them have one.
Yeah. Because I know there's different hockey teams, and I think baseball does it sometimes too, where they put a video collage together, like of goals or home runs or outstanding play. Well, yeah, when a team gets in a slump or a player gets in a slump, and they go, "Hey, watch this for a few minutes."
Sure.
And they go, "Wow, oh, okay, let's go get it." Yeah, you're a good player. Honest to God. That's why you're here. Now, what is going to happen here? Is she going to try like a little bump and a raise on her own? Or?
I think it's a straight come around. But, it's a tough one. The ice curls a lot. And it's still fresh pebbles, so the bump might be just as easy here. And I think she's got line for the bump. They're on it early, but it's curling. When she bumps it, she's not going to have a lot of rings left. But it's looking pretty good.
Good shot.
Pretty good shot. Very good shot.
All tied up here at the end of the second. Smith comes by with two really nice, that first shot of hers was a beautiful shot in there. And a nice little bump to tie this up at 2 apiece.
That's what we call the skip's deuce.
Yeah. So we're in for a very good women's championship. And now they're feeling good. I see some smiles on the girls' faces down there as they have a little gathering.
It's momentum, right? They were down a little bit after that first end, and then they got 2 back, and now they're on the charge. And the other team is kind of, not so bad yet. No big deal, but all tied up. We'll see how it goes in this end.
All tied up, and Robichaud now will have the hammer. The final stone here in the third end. This is 8-end game, and we're waiting to see what happened in the men's second. Let's see if they post the score for us. The men overall the weekend have been notorious for not posting their scores. Some of them had difficulty putting their names up on the scoreboard there. So at least the names are up this time, but I have a feeling the ice crew was good enough to put them up before or one of the volunteers.
We ran an event here last weekend with the junior preliminaries before they went to Moncton, and I was the chairman for that event, and I had the same challenge. I sent them out on the ice, and I said, please post your score so that at least 2 people, your mom and myself, know what the score is. Well,
Mr. Fleming was kind enough. Obviously, his ears must have been burning because he went all the way down, and he hung it up, and it makes it easier when they scored 2.
Yes.
So they stole 2 in that second end to go up 3-0 on Talon's team in the men's final here at the 6th annual Jimmy Sullivan Curling Classic, supported by the World Financial Group.
We're going to have another great end here on the ladies' sheet. That first rock went right up dead center line and just a foot or so off the rings. And Sylvie's coming right around it right immediately. So we're going to see lots of rocks again this end. Perfect shot. Nice high in the 8-foot, but almost pretty much dead behind the guard. It doesn't leave much opportunity to get in there, but she will. Go for it. And see if she can jam one in front of that.
Now, if you were Smith, is that the play you went for first, putting a high guard up there?
Yeah, definitely. You want to get some guards up in play, and you basically, you don't have the hammer, so you need to steal, and the only way to do that is to get something behind something that's protecting you. So in this case, she wants to be behind the red, but in front of the yellow, and both rocks would protect her. Looks like this one's hanging out a little bit, and if it's long, they should take it right around the whole bunch of stuff. Sneak it right to the back of the 4-foot. Now that's looking pretty good, but what it does, it's behind the tee line, and Sylvie Robichaud would glad to have a rock right in front of it.
Because that's what they call that, the offensive. If you're in front of the tee, that's the offensive plays rather than.
Well, it's the best. situation, because in order to you'll get better than that rock, you've got to move it past the tee line.
Yeah.
In this case, the red is behind the tee line, so we can sit in front of it, and the red will then become some protection for yellow. So Sylvie didn't really mind that rock being back there, but again, like most shots in this game, in this level, we can draw them up and we can talk about being where they want to be, but they have to be made, or otherwise the other team will take advantage of it.
Yeah.
And we saw that. We've seen it for both ends so far. Back and forth, the momentum changes as a shot is made a little bit better, or one is made just halfway. So here it comes. It's got a really nice weight to it. A pretty good line to the back red. Might be a hair long. It's going to bump the red, but still in a very good spot. The problem with bumping that red is that now the yellow doesn't have any defense behind it, essentially, and Smith now has the opportunity to come back and do the same thing. It's going to be back and forth here for a couple more rocks.
In the women's draw, they had 10 women's teams in the event this year. We have a total prize purse of $5,500. So first place will receive $1,750,
nice,
which will help out towards those Christmas presents that are going to England.
Maybe they'll buy the barbecue.
Second place, $1,150. The semifinalists, the losers of the semifinalists, they received $750, and the quarterfinalists recouped their entrance fee. They $550, as it was $550 to enter the tournament. So as you see some teams obviously have tried to take advantage or try to offset some of their costs by having sponsorship logos and names on their
oh well, we certainly
jackets
appreciate all
and
of those
stuff.
folks that help us out every year.
Well, yeah, and it's expensive. It's expensive, one, to just enter tournaments, and then you have the expenses of obviously lodging, meals, gas.
Absolutely.
Rather than maybe tapping on mom and dad's.
Well, I see Sylvie Robichaud's sporting the Papa John's logo,
Yeah.
as well as Toyota on the back of their jackets. But
Yeah.
Papa John's is the major sponsor, I believe, for the junior provincials happening in Moncton today, right?
Well, and the big thing too is, as you get teams, especially the older teams, they have business contacts and whatnot, and sometimes companies will support just because who they are. And then other companies will support because they like the branding of what you're doing, healthy lifestyle, sport, so they obviously like to get their name and be associated with certain things. Right? And obviously curling is a great one to be associated with.
Yeah, for sure. There's a number of great sponsors provincially and nationally that help us out. And they have some visibility, but they do a great thing for our sport for sure, letting these players play.
Other sponsors of this event here is Molson Coors, the World Financial Group, and obviously the host rink, the Thistle St. Andrews Curling Club, for their support, and the volunteers that help put this event together.
It seems like they're having a little bit of a problem here in this end, like they did in the first end, where it's just hanging out a little bit and not finishing the curl. And advantage at the moment is Robichaud, with an opportunity to hit the red rock on the right side of the sheet and flop into the forefoot perhaps. And if she kind of gets it in there on a little bit of an angle, or even just a nose hit to the one that's sitting there already, Smith will be scrambling, trying to figure out how to steal one this in.
It makes it so much easier now doing updates and scores and stuff. Where before we had 8 sheets going, we're trying to look between pillars.
Need your binoculars over
yeah.
there.
So. And of course, as you pointed out too, sometimes it's challenging for teams to be posting their scores. Like they'd be in the fifth end, and they've only posted scores for 2 ends. And as we say to the folks at home that are listening, obviously they're watching the families and friends on the main sheet here, but we do keep the other We've been trying to keep the other sheets updated on their scores, so they
somebody's
tuning
running a live
in.
score.
Yeah.
Yeah, good.
So
this one's holding out a little bit. Looks like a nose hit coming up here, which will give Smith an opportunity to slide right in there and put a freeze on her. Potentially, yeah, she's going to go for the hit and roll. She wants to eliminate rocks here and not give up a great big end.
when you don't have the hammer or last rock, your ultimate goal is to limit the opponents to one.
Mm-hmm.
And obviously, when you have the hammer, you like to minimum two,
That would be nice.
if it's possible. So that's sort of the game in a nutshell.
That strategy kind of changes a little bit as the game progresses. Sometimes, even with the hammer, you're happy with just getting the one. And she's made a great shot there with a hit on the outside, rolled in front of the other one. She is number 2 at the moment, but in good position. And it'd be difficult for Sylvie to get that red out without touching that back yellow. It can be done with just, she's indicating, just back line kind of tap weight, essentially. Well, perhaps a little bit more than that, probably closer to hack.
We have a busy weekend going on here in the New Brunswick curling. We have the junior championships being played in Moncton, and we have our crews up there broadcasting those games. And nationally, we have the Roar of the Rings starting up in Ottawa, and all the top curlers who have qualified for that event to see who will be going representing Canada at Seoul, Korea.
Oh.
Lovely shot.
Look at that. See that perfect
Hit and roll in behind.
See that perfect Christmas tree there,
Yeah.
Keith? That's the 3 rocks kind of lined up in a row there, and it's difficult to get in on the back one or get rid of more than one of them, really. So she's going to rattle the guard out front here, because that was a great shot by Melissa Adams that made that.
Was Melissa skip last year?
I believe so.
Because she was with Armstrong in that group, wasn't she?
I think so.
Yeah. So she had joined forces with Sylvie this year. So, like I said, that is a powerhouse squad, to say the least. There's a shot that just goes off.
Yep. Difficult with that
Yep.
curling ice right now. So Sylvie's getting excited here, I think. Maybe not, but she's got 3 great rocks around the 4-foot area, and good protection on her shot rock, with the outside now covered by the red. So she's just looking to position one right here in the front of those yellows, make a little bit of an angle, and make it really difficult to get rid of more than probably 2 of them. So it's Melissa's second shot as the 3rd stone here, so 3 rocks to come in total.
You can.
I was just checking out the score. You mentioned the junior provincial, and at the moment, after 8 ends in Moncton, the Liam Marin team and Cody Lewis are locked in a battle there, 5-5 score, with Lewis having hammer in the 9th. So looks like they have some good game going on up there, and we've got a great one here. She put a pretty good rock in front there to guard up that rock. And now, pretty much, Smith, her only opportunities to try to draw around to the button area and partially tuck behind those 2 rocks that are angled up front. Just going to check on the score of the ladies' game. I believe the other event.
Is that a final or a semi?
That was it's a semi-final, but I believe the Marin team needs to be beaten twice today. So if Lewis does come through and defeat them this afternoon, there'll be a final tonight.
Okay, 6:30, I think, is the.
But if Marin prevails, then I think it's all over this afternoon.
Veronica just wants to go down and check that one more time. The World Financial Group, one of their key phrases is knowledge is power.
Mm-hmm.
And with World Financial Group is determined to provide people throughout North America with the financial education that empowers them to have a better future. This is a campaign for financial literacy for World Financial. And they've been here all week supporting this event and passing out information. And they have some curlers last night had a few testimonials on the changes and the positive changes that they have had with people who have had their guidance in financial matters. And they are obviously an excellent supporter of curling.
Yes, they are. So Veronica did choose to go with the out-turn draw here to the back shot rock. When she came down and looked at it in the hack area, she felt, I think, that she had a little bit more protection of hiding back there, and potentially even to get a better number 2 at least, and possibly number 1. Her draw was pretty good, and it's nice to the tee line. I think it's difficult for me to see this distance. We don't have an overhead, but I think that Sylvie might be number 1 at the moment.
Yeah.
Oh, my apologies, we do. Red Rock appears to be number 1. Great shot. So with the lineup on the front rocks here, Sylvie can sneak past her guard that she just put there and make contact. I think she can promote one of those yellow rocks against the red and move it out of the rings. So this will be a pivotal shot right here.
First shot for Sylvie here in this end, third end.
They're on it all the way. It's very tight on that guard.
Just gotta pick off her own. Oh.
Well, I think she did the job. Well, it's still number...
What are we seeing here?
I think she's moved it enough, Keith,
Yeah.
to be number 1.
One, yes, I agree with that. And Smith is 2.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's a
There's an opportunity.
couple other yellows there, but right now 1, 2.
This will be a tricky shot to come in off this one in the just biting the 4-foot. There's a red guard out front that she would need to come around fairly close to make an inside roll.
From this angle, how it is from front.
I think I'm trying to gather what she's doing by her broom indications, but she
They're
might
looking
be
at
just,
both options.
Yeah, I think she might be thinking of throwing a guard on the other side to keep Melissa to scoring too many rocks. But Robichaud. Well, they are looking closely at this hit and roll. It is a real tricky one. I mean, it just has to be kind of a back 8 weight, maybe back 12, but it has to be close to that red guard. The advantage, I think, if the rocks are positioned right, she could make a little contact with that yellow, which would then possibly tick the red over and make it number 1. So there could be a second reason to go to this side, is there could be a good outcome from something happening that you didn't quite plan.
In the men's final, Talon was limited to 1 against Murphy in the third end, so Murphy is holding on to a 3-1 lead. Now they have Hammer coming back here in the 4th.
The other good thing about this shot, Keith, is that she's just thrown it.
Mm-hmm.
So it's essentially the same shot, and anytime you have an opportunity to do the same thing twice, it's that really kind of leads you in that direction often. It's just like the one I just threw, or the sweepers can say it's the same weight, or the line color can say it's a little bit out or a little bit in, and they can adjust from the one we just saw a few moments ago. So That could be another reason why she's kind of got to this shot. The weight looks pretty good. Again, it has to be real tight to that red guard to make the shot she wants to make.
Calling them off.
And here it
Let
comes.
it
It's got
go.
a great line. Here it goes. It's breaking hard now. It really is close on that red.
Whoa.
Yeah, yeah.
Look at
Nice
that.
shot, a little flop.
Beautiful shot by
Yeah.
Smith.
Very nice.
She's got her touch on.
Just at back 8 weight.
Yeah. When the sweepers give you a slap, that's when you know.
It's a
That's when you know you've
it's a nice hand, high five kind of slap. That's a.
Yeah.
So I think right now Smith's lying 1 and looks she's like 1 and 3 at the moment. So Sylvie's going to look at that outside because there's an opportunity to kind of make a similar kind of shot, potentially kiss off both of those reds and score a couple.
Yeah. But at least she's made it difficult for her.
Very, very difficult.
And now this is where you have the experience of Melissa Adams, obviously giving her input to Sylvie, looking at the different options and angles. And
Yep. Now they should consider the in-turn draw to the button as well, which is a kind of a bailout shot. Doesn't look easy, of course, but it's kind of a safer shot, a one that potentially should guarantee her the one.
But they don't want one; they want
No.
two.
Well, we always talk
Jeff,
about,
we want two.
we do, yeah. Most players do
Yeah.
like that, but it's a risk versus reward
Yeah.
kind of situation. We always look at that and think, if this happens,
Though the
we're
coach-
highly rewarded.
The coach looks.
Well,
the coach.
Sometimes
This-
you have to think defensively too,
yeah.
and which we go through these situations all the time of choosing the best options, best opportunities. We never think like we want to miss or going to miss the shot, so
Oh.
we want to take one we're going to make. So she doesn't feel. She looks like she's indicating the in-turn draw, safe to the button. That other shot is very difficult to get in the right spot to get rid of the shot rock and get any more than one anyway. So she's going to take the safe path of drawing to the button, I think.
It always reminds me when I played golf a lot, and I would hit like a tee shot, a bad tee shot, and then we just put another ball down and just hit. And they go, "How come you never took a practice swing or anything?"
Yeah.
And really
Did that the first time.
I could, yeah, I did that the first time. Realistically, I could have nailed that next one just as well in the woods as I did the first one. But in my mind, I don't hit two bad shots.
No, I see.
Right? So boom,
I
I
do.
put the other one down, boom, and away it goes. You smack, away you go. And my friends used to get a chuckle. I go, what are you laughing? They go, I can't believe you didn't take a few practice swings and just go. I said, well, I don't hit two bad shots. I don't know what you guys do, but really, you could.
Golf is like curling. It's like
Yeah.
another touch game. So she's got a great angle coming down. Her speed's pretty good. The sweepers are now really on it because it's starting to hook. That means it's got the good weight right to the top 4 foot.
Kind of brush on that
It's just
one.
a hair light.
Yes.
So we have a steal. And potentially a measure here from our overhead
Yeah,
perspective.
I think Smith's
it's,
got
yeah.
one, and let's see if they feel
kicking them
confident
off.
enough. They're kicking them all off. So
Score one Smith, one for Smith.
let's see. Oh, see those girls. See, they're good.
Right
Stay
up to the
right
number.
up. Thank you very much.
Well, when you've had a close end that
Yeah.
could have gone either way, or the other team could have gone a bundle.
Get that score up there.
And you end up stealing one. You want to run right up there and
Put
hang
that up
that as
there.
quickly as you can.
So after 3 ends, Smith 3-2. Prince Edward Island over New Brunswick.
It's a interprovincial matchup.
Okay,
isn't it?
yeah.
Oh, nice.
I'm putting that weight on them now.
Plus Cornwall, England.
Wow, they're supporting the island here.
So we talked a little bit about momentum swing at the end of the last end, and where Smith had fortunately come out and got a 2, and now she's stolen one. So here we are in the final, and emotions run back and forth all the time. And as a player, you have to focus on the shot at hand, and not
Let
what
it
has
go.
just happened or what
Yeah.
could happen.
Shelf it. Put it on the
It's-
shelf.
Yeah, it's again, I keep coming back to juniors, but for me it's 100% of my day these days. But trying to figure out the right things to tell your players and get them in that zone of play, so that they can let the good things happen and let the bad things go away. So
we used to have key words.
Yeah.
That were our sort of that get you in the right frame, and when we want our hitters to hit the ball hard, they had key words to think about, so they would really explode into the ball. And then when they had bad plays, we said you had a 3 count. You think about what you did wrong, so what you have to do right, and then boom, then park it.
Gone,
and you move on.
That's good.
Well, as you say, you're using the golf analogy there. You don't let the last shot affect your next shot. That's in the past.
You can't change it.
You can learn from it, but don't let it negatively affect your. And a lot of players, sometimes they find that hard to do. They're missing that 3-foot putt, and they can't believe they missed it. Next thing, they walk up to the tee and they blast it out of bounds. You go, whoa, what's going on here?
I think that's what we've seen, a change in the game, Keith, over the last 15 years, 10 years maybe, where these teams are separating themselves from the regular players by having that extra edge. And sometimes that extra edge is that mental training, mental preparation training. And fitness training is a big thing today too, but I think it's the mental in the zone kind of training as well is key. A lot of teams are utilizing those resources that we have today to strengthen their team and to get them through slumps or whatever, or to face the other big teams. So that's, to me, it's the big change that I've seen in the game. We can't just kind of come out here and throw rocks once in a while. We got to work on it almost daily. We have to throw rocks regularly. We talked about golf being a touch game. Curling is a super touch game. It's a feel. Throwing rocks is a good thing, and practicing often. So these girls have got it going now with Robichaud's got her corner guard up and ready to come around to the tee line. And I think we have the lead Kendra that's going to try to get it around this corner in a good position to set up a 2 this end. I think if the Robichaud team comes back with a 2 here, you'll see the momentum switch a little bit again. So back and forth.
I always enjoy watching that movie, Hoosiers.
Yeah.
The basketball movie there, the little town, the little school that was going up in the state final, and they get to the state final, and you could see the guys were in awe. And the coach comes out with a measuring tape. He said, "Hey, get on your shoulders there. What's?"
Yeah.
And they go, "What for?" And they get up there, and he puts the tape on the rim.
Yeah.
Puts it down. They said, "What's it say?" 10 feet.
Just like at home.
Just like at home. let's measure right to the foul line. They measured out. Just like at home. And they were, then they caught on hey guys, same gym, same floor, same rim.
That's right.
Let's just go out and play ball.
Exactly. Yeah.
And
we mentioned earlier about the number of teams out here in the rink, and it's a different atmosphere than it was just earlier this morning when you had 8 teams out here playing, or 8 games. It's noisier out there, and suddenly in the final it's nice and quiet. So those are just like measuring the basketball hoop. It's a little adjustment you have to make. And sometimes when you play in the provincials or something, or even in a big spiel, they bring out the hardware and they put it on a table beside the ice.
Try to intimidate you.
Yeah, you start thinking about how good that would look on your fireplace at home, and suddenly you find out you didn't play very well that day. So it's
there's a nice shot.
It's a great shot. Yep.
Looking for a little bit of a roll, but happy with the first thing.
Mm-hmm.
It was a great comment. We had the Grey Cup championship there last weekend. Snowy conditions in Ottawa, and very entertaining game to say the least. And the quarterback for Calgary tried to do a little too much.
Mm-hmm.
They were in field goal range to tie the game, go to overtime, but he wanted the touchdown, and he threw it to double coverage and short. Interception, game over.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the analysts, who was a former quarterback, nice shot there, said he was trying to be it
Yeah.
rather than being part of it.
Yeah.
And he says that's what happens to athletes sometimes. They try to be the it rather than being part of it. And I went, ooh, I like that.
Well said.
You know, and it's like here in curling, it's like you throw this, let your sweepers help you out.
Absolutely.
They can extend the rock. They can't do anything to slow it down though.
No.
So let them. And Jane Arsenault last year at we had the tankard here, and Jane said, I always have my sweepers involved. She goes, that's just how I throw. They're always involved.
Sure.
You know, even if it's a little bit, but they're involved. And she goes, when I see a rock go and I see the sweepers not involved, I go, there's trouble coming here.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right. And,
Well,
and
it's a
true.
4-player game.
Yeah.
You know, everybody. We only throw 2 rocks out of 8, so that's 25% of the time. Can you be in charge?
Yeah.
And the other 75% of the time, you have to be a supporter for your other teammates. So I think James absolutely right there to have everybody involved in every shot, and keep them active, and that's how you keep in that shot every time. When you're ready to throw yours, a few moments later, you're probably going to be more in tune to what you have to do. So.
Nice shot there, right on.
Yep, she's clearing the front here. She's looking for a roll, but it's still nice and close to the rings, and Sylvie's still set up here for an opportunity to get 2 yet. The corner guard's still out there. You know, Smith could potentially attempt to come around here and a little bit close to the rings and ticks it on, and suddenly Sylvie has an opportunity. So they have to be a little bit careful with that. She's going to take a sufficient amount of ice here. You may not have noticed she switched to the outturned side of this centerline rock versus coming through the middle of those other 2 rocks. And strategy-wise, that's always a good technique to stay. If you come through the middle, the other team follows you to the middle, and they have 2 rocks to roll behind. When you come through this outturned side, there's only the open side that they can roll to, and so it's a good strategy choice in that sense for anybody that's picking up on that.
Jane DiCarlo.
Looks a little tight on that center guard, and if she's got the weight, she's going to tap them on.
I don't think they're going to let it go there, so that won't happen.
Yeah, but now that rock is actually close enough. Well, I don't know, it's fairly well covered, but it's splittable to make 2 out of it. But now Robichaud has got nice coverage on that outturned side that swings so far. And just saw a rock come down here with a little bit less weight than needed, and she should have a good idea how much ice is necessary to come around to the top 4 foot. And if she does that, it'll be advantage Robichaud for sure. This is like, you know, curling is such a challenge because top 4 foot is perfect. Back behind the tee line, not so good.
Not so good. I like that little pause.
That's only
not so good.
That's only 2 feet.
Yeah.
You know, it's a 2 feet of difference, and the thrower's involved here, and the sweeper. All 4 players are involved, and suddenly you see it stop, you know, behind the tee line and go, what do we do? But she made a great shot there, top 8, probably at least half behind that set of guards. Really good shot. But man, you put 3 more feet on that, and suddenly she's given something for the Smith team to work. So I think she's looking at how to clear these guards, or wow, it's an aggressive call here with going to the in-turn draw around the center here. But one thing with that shot is it did come up a little bit short, and that gives about 5 feet of space there for the Smith team to sneak one into the 4 foot. She'll want to be just a top button, about half covered if she can. Key here would be being covered. Otherwise, she'll give Robichaud a hit and roll somewhere. Looking really good.
Yep.
Real nice.
Hard. Right. Nice shot.
Very good. About half open though. And I think she can probably come down with about hack weight, hit that, and roll behind the other yellow corner guard. And if she's able to do that, she'll set up a 3-ender here. Real tricky shot. It's very weight sensitive. So she's taken an extra moment or two. It is a critical shot for Melissa. Seems like in these finals, every shot's critical. Nicely thrown. A little tight on the guard, I think. They're sweeping it hard. But they seem to be holding it. Great shot.
Bye. Nice shot.
Very
Melissa Adams. She makes Sylvia's job sometimes a little easier.
Mm-hmm.
Those mates with all that experience, like you see that on the Robichaud team, but Mike Kennedy actually was throwing skip rock.
Is that right? Oh, was he? Switched back again?
Yeah, they switched back again.
Wow.
Because yesterday...
These guys need a lineup card every day, I think.
How do you know? You do. No, you go. You throw.
Just trying to get that right combination,
Yeah.
probably, for each event. Sometimes, you don't feel right throwing that last brick, and you want to give it to the other guy, and he has this little surge, and things work well that day, so you try it again the next day. So, they're all great players, and it's a matter of finding that right combination, probably the right feeling, chemistry you need for an event. So one of the good things about this event is they lead into the provincials. This level of competition gets them ready for that. Yeah,
and the ladies, like I said, will have their in New Brunswick anyway. January 3rd to 7th will be the ladies' Scotties up in Moncton, New Brunswick.
Pretty early this year.
Yeah. I think it's because of the Olympic year. They moved everything up.
It's a pretty good shot by Smith. She managed to not jam it on the back. She got rid of the shot rock. And she's safe on the outside, but not number one. So that'll give Sylvie an opportunity to come down to the middle. And again, a real sensitive shot. Perfect if you're in the top button. Not so good if you're in the back. But these folks have played, about 7 or 8 games on this ice by now, and getting used to the speed and all of that, they should be able to get it there.
Murphy just scored a deuce, and that will put him up 5-1 at the end of 4, and it's starting to slip away on the Talon team. Because Murphy scored one in the first, and then they stole 2 in the second to go up 3-0. Talon came back with 1 in the third end, and then Murphy has just scored 2 more here in the fourth. And here we are down to this is Sylvie Robichaux's first stone here in the fourth end.
She's going with that in-turn draw to try to repeat what Melissa did a few moments ago. Potentially make it a little bit better so she can be tucked in behind that, but not too deep. Want to be just to the top button here. Looks like a little extra weight to me. Yeah, it's going to slide a little bit too far, I think. Right now it's still hanging out there, and it looks a little close to hack weight here.
Jane Arsenault wouldn't be happy with that.
Didn't use her sweepers.
Didn't use her sweepers. Jane's not happy. What show's that from?
Oh, gosh.
Come on, Jeff.
No, I'm sorry, I don't have one.
Steinfeld. George is not happy.
Okay.
Another moment brought to you by Steinfeld. So here is the last shot for Veronica. Like I said, they have a 3-2 lead, but Robichaud does have the hammer here.
Mm-hmm. If she can sneak it into cover here, she could steal another one.
And she has been curling well today. Well, obviously been curling well all week to be in this position, but definitely this team has come to play today. And
she's got a wider line than Melissa had earlier, so she's not in danger of coming too close, but I think it's like she's going to be a little short.
Yeah.
And that'll give Sylvie an opportunity to draw from 2.
Yeah.
Not what she wanted to do there.
No, just pulled the string a little bit there.
Well, it's easy to do when you see another player throw it into the hack.
Throw it, yeah.
You think, wow, it's
Ooh,
must be fast.
is it that fast?
Yeah, right. But I think she got out a little farther and definitely threw it lighter, so that's why it's out in front of the rings. So here we go back and forth. If she gets her 2, it's only going to be a 4-3 game, so it's still nice and close. Where the other men's game is a bit of a runway. We got the good one today.
We get the good one. You folks are so lucky. And what I'll do is at the end of this end, I have some information on maybe folks who don't know or who Jim Sullivan was, and what kind of a person he was, and obviously what kind of an outstanding curler. So we have a few some information on Jim just to educate our listeners and viewers on the accomplishments of one Jim Sullivan, who we are honoring here at this event.
Well, as many TSA curlers can attest to, we've been on the ice with Jim and lost a few of those games that he won. But he was a great curler and a great guy. And she draws for 2.
Yeah.
So Robichaud goes up 4-3 after 4 ends.
Little info about who Jim Sullivan was. Jim Sullivan was a son of New Brunswick curling legend Dave Sullivan. Took up the game of curling at age 12 and never looked back. His contributions to the game, both on and off the ice, left a lasting impression on Atlantic and Canadian curling culture. Big, tall, and lanky, Jim could be seen smiling and talking to folks in curling clubs all across the Maritimes, and generally everyone he talked to smiled back. Jim had a large personality, and he loved the people that earned him the reputation of being the nicest guy you ever lose to. And true to that reputation, Jim did his share of winning. He skipped the junior team, which captured the 1987 New Brunswick and Canadian Junior Men's Curling Championships and the 1988 World Junior Men's Curling Championships in Germany. The Sullivan Rink was New Brunswick's first world champion in any sport in more than 60 years. In 1990, Sullivan and his team were the silver medalists at the Labatt Brier and earned an era where 100 teams would turn out in New Brunswick for a shot at the provincial tankard versus 20 teams today. The team was inducted into the New Brunswick Sports Hall of Fame in 1994. Jim won countless other titles too, including high schools championships, mixed curling, cash spiel titles, Super League titles, and his favorite annual spiel, the Oromocto Open, held at the Gage Curling Club in Oromocto, where Jim won A-section titles many times, taking home a boatload of prizes from the co-op. Mm-hmm. Jim was a lifetime member of the Capel Winter Club in Fredericton and was a member of the TSA, where he organized and chaired the TSA Fun Day Cash Spiel. Jim Sullivan's legacy goes well beyond curling. The World Financial Group Jim Sullivan Curling Classic honors Jim, his passion for the game, and his friends in curling. That's a little bit about Jim Sullivan.
The nicest guy you'll ever lose to.
Yeah.
I can attest to that a couple times, for sure. Now, I followed Jim's game early on when I remember them back in the Capital Winter Club as kids. They were throwing rocks over and over and over, and then they won that the New Brunswick title and the Canadian title and the world title, and it was just astounding to watch those players play and to cheer behind them. In those days, he went to the Briar in '90. I remember us all gather here at the club. We had tables all lined up and probably a few beverages, and we watched on the big screen and watched him beating Eddie Wernick up there at the Briar, and those guys could throw that to the tee line anytime Jim wanted it to. Yeah. So really good team, really good real player, and a great guy to have around. So great memories there for sure. So I think the Robichaud team now is kind of back in mode with a two-ender where they got control of this game and trying to get rocks back in the rings again. And Smith is again looking for rocks out front. And this one's going to slip in a little bit. So this will give Smith an opportunity to hit and roll behind that corner guard that got established up there. She hung it out a little bit on the intern side and has rolled a little bit too far out of the rings. So I think Sylvie will be coming up to take the corner guard off. No, I stand corrected again. Staying in aggressive mode. We always have choices here, right? And some teams will stick to that peeling, keep it clean method, and other skips will say, well, I just saw a miss, and maybe I'm going to go a little bit more aggressive here and try to steal one and really get control of this game. So, we do switch that strategy back and forth. Sometimes it's a strategy to change your strategy so that the other team doesn't know what's coming.
Well, it's almost like a baseball pitcher. Yeah. I'm not throwing fastballs all the time. I'm throwing a little changeup, a little curveball here. I'm moving locations around, high, low, inside.
Sure.
And if you're comfortable with your players and you know what they can do, then, like you said, you can switch things up midstream.
Yeah, we're not sure, but maybe Nicole is usually good at putting those guards on and not so good at clearing the corner guards. So that might be her strength. She did come up a little bit light on this one, though, and it's given Veronica a chance to come down and tap that shot rock. Looks like she's going to try to play a little hit and roll and roll behind that center guard. A little soft weight shot.
Well by it.
Yep, great shot. Well, given that they were sweeping that, Keith, I think it looked like she wanted to hit and roll to the open side and stay out. I would think being down on the scoreboard a little bit, got those guards up there, that's an opportunity to bump it back, get some more rocks in play. But everybody makes choices. Nicole on her second shot.
Nicole Bishop. She's on the inside. They're trying to hold that line there. Going to hit and roll, and the question is, how much is it going to roll? And Smith wants to get it out. There. The house is clean once again.
Yeah, so Smith has her near center line guard and corner guard as well, so she's got a couple of choices. It looks like she's going to go to the corner. Well, it's funny, they confuse us up here with several different indications and then settle on one eventually.
Over here. No, I think we'll go here.
Yeah.
Okay.
So around the center is the strategy. Top 8 foot would be good. Not too much deeper, maybe. Top 4 foot, maybe. looks like lots of room, lots of space for this one. This is likely to finish in the wide open. It's potentially just a little bit longer than she was hoping for. So Sylvie will be attempting a little hit and roll here. A little discussion about weight here, I think, and how much, how hard to throw it. There's lots of room in there, Keith, to make the hit and roll over a little bit. Even if with soft weight, you could hit on roll all the way to the corner, actually. It moves that much.
Melissa Adams. Not laying a broom on it.
No, not using her sweepers.
Not using her sweepers.
Well, that's a different situation where you're trying to make a takeout and you don't want to use your sweepers too much.
Okay, it's all right.
Yeah.
Just keep it clean though. Don't want it picking.
That's right. That's true. That's true.
She's got it, cleared it out.
So we're seeing kind of a conservative end here, or at least maybe the result of half shots that weren't quite on. Folks must be getting tired by this point in the weekend, I suppose.
We're catching up to the men's here. We're almost on the same rocks here. We have Skip Stones in the men's final, but they've had a long discussion, so it gave the women a chance to catch up here a bit with a few shots.
They seem to have a lot of rocks in play over there.
Yeah, well, this is a big end. Talon's got the hammer. There was a miss on a raise from the Murphy rink, and so they just looked at all the options because they need to be scoring more than 1 point to get back in this. They're down 5-1.
On our sheet, Sylvie has the same opportunity. Melissa actually has a shot to make the hit and roll again. I expect that she'll be a little... They've narrowed up the broom just a little bit as she rolled out last time. They're definitely using their sweepers this time.
Good shot.
It's going to get that long roll.
Yeah.
No, not a lot of weight, so it didn't go far. So it's open on the intern side now for Smith. I think we're on the first Skips rock here.
Nope.
Nope, last third. That would be Jane again. Nice looking throw.
It's through.
Yep, a little roll towards the forefront.
Nice shot. They can raise their glasses in Cornwall, England. I think we have to they have to drink whatever's left in their glasses, because Jane only gets a couple of shots and in here.
No, there you go.
Can't just take a drink. That'd be wrong. Got to put it all away.
Similar shot, but a little trickier because it's tucked about half behind that guard.
Sylvia Arsenault, Robichaud with her first stone here in the 5th end.
Looks like it's got a little curling to do, but should be getting contact, making contact. Yeah, good looking shot. Just soft enough weight, push it out of the rings.
The house is empty. Nobody's home.
Yep. So Veronica has a choice here. She still has 2 guards, so she could come around one of them, and if she does that, she's attempting to go for her 2. And the alternative shot would be to play somewhere in the open and attempt to blank this end. I think the opportunity is good. Swingy ice like this, should be able to get behind that guard, and she makes it to the top 8 foot. There's a really good chance she'll score 2 here.
Well, Murphy held Talon to 1. So that makes that a 5-2 game at the end of the 5th. But now Murphy has the hammer once again. So Murphy came back there and made a big shot to limit the damage and forced Rene Como to do a double takeout, but and he stuck around. So single point for Talon. They're down 5-2 going into the 6th. And here we are in our match, 5th end. And Smith is, that's a little hot.
It's a little bit warm on weight, yep. Going to the back of the rings.
And the brakes have finally come on it.
Yep. She left it on the intern side for Sylvie. Now, Sylvie could choose here to freeze one in front of it. Really, force her to one or potentially steal. And she's looking probably to tap it out.
So with the junior 18s, the nationals are going to be in St. Andrews in April. When are the provincial playdowns for that?
My apologies, I don't have
That's
the calendar
all right.
handy, but
It's all right, big guy.
I think it's somewhere around the 23rd of February.
Okay.
Something like that.
Okay, I'll go with that. February. Just say February.
February.
Mid-late February.
Okay, let's do
Say,
that.
how's that?
2018, right?
2018.
Actually, I think it's the 17th.
Wow.
If I remember right.
Now
It's kicking in, yeah. Because I looked at interning our team in it, but we're not quite there yet. We're
oh, come on.
no, we're
Come on, Jeff.
We're 14. Our kids are a little bit younger.
Oh, 14. Oh, yeah, goodness.
So it's
yes.
an under 18 event, and there'll be 16, 17-year-olds there.
Yeah.
We're almost there. We're in our 3rd season now. And
Nice shot going through, made it through, but she's going
very good.
I think she's going to hit and might
She's
roll
gonna
out.
stick around.
Oh,
Yep.
she's going to stick. Yeah. Now, so what happens at the 14 and 15 age group? Do we have? Is there regionals or provincials for these? There might not be nationals, but is there provincials for that age group or no?
Yeah, this year's a kind of a special year. Firstly, every year we have an under 15 event.
Okay.
We call it a provincial. It's kind of the biggest event for the under 15 age, boys and girls. It's held here in February. Kenny Coates event.
Okay.
Which is, we've probably seen a few resumes come up with some kids that have played in that many times. So that's a typical one. However, this year's Canada Games playoff year.
Okay.
So that's held every 4 years. And so for the Canada Games in 2019, New Brunswick will be claiming its team in late March of this year. And there are 2 qualifying events for that. And that's one of our goals that our team has been working towards for about 2 years now, in various development camps and events towards that. So those events, there's a qualifying event in Robichaud, and then a second one in Sackville, where they're qualifying 3 teams of each event to give a 6-team round robin in both boys and girls categories. So that playoff, I believe, is being held here in Riverside, Rossay, in late March.
Okay.
So pretty busy year for us. We're trying, for that age group, we have a number of different events. There was a junior spiel here in early November. There's a fun spiel going on in Robichaud this weekend. There's a development camp spiel in Moncton next weekend. There's mini caches here and there everywhere. So kids are pretty busy.
And just in that last shot there, Smith took out the Robichaud stone, but I don't know if she wanted to or not, but she stayed for a single. So it's all tied up at the end of 5, 4 apiece. But more importantly, Robichaud now has hammer going into 6. And as Coach Jeff over here, he'd like to have the hammer in 6.
Absolutely. Like to have the hammer often, but not too often, because I think if you have it all the time, the other team is scoring.
Yeah, so yeah, that's right.
But sixth end is a good time to have it for sure.
And for if you just recreational folks that just tuning in, the reason for that, if you have the hammer in a 6 and you score, obviously you're trying to score a deuce. You get your 2 points. The other team has it. If they get 1 or 2, it's tied. But now you get the hammer back in the last end. Yep. That's the important thing from a controlling standpoint. It's nice to have hammer coming in 6, especially in a tight game.
Mm-hmm. So they'll be cautious here. What we call a probing strategy, which would be we're going to play sort of defensively, but we're going to take our opportunities if we get one. Otherwise, we're going to try to keep control and keep this game close, because it's going to come down to the last end likely.
And on the national scene, talking about different dates and stuff, the World Financial Group Continental Cup will be played January 11th to 14th in London, Ontario. The New Holland Canadian Juniors, January 13th to 21st in Shawinigan, Quebec. The Scotties Tournament of Hearts, the Women's Championships, will be January 27th to February 4th in Penticton, BC. The Tim Hortons Briar, March 3rd to 11th in Regina, Saskatchewan. And the Ford World Women's Curling Championships, March 17th to 25th in North Bay, Ontario. That sort of gives you an idea of what's happening nationally.
A lot of good events. I had an opportunity to go to that Continental Cup last season when it was held in Las Vegas, actually.
That must have been rough.
Things
you got to do. You guys, you and Cooper and
but we went down there
Dobson,
to watch curling.
Dobson,
honestly. We said to a number of friends, "Where are you going for vacation?" "I'm going to Vegas to watch curling." And it was a great event for sure. It was a nice 4-day event down there, and international players and Team Canada, etc. And it was a great event to watch.
And they don't have a bad hockey team either now. Isn't that
true.
something?
Yeah, that's gonna.
Who would have thunk that? Well, I mean, they did have a very good draft and everything else,
sure.
Compared to other expansion teams. But still, I don't think anyone would have said.
We'll see you in March, right?
Yeah.
We'll see you in March. This is a great-looking shot coming by the guard.
Lovely
nice
shot.
And tight and pushing that back and getting the roll, and the red is out. So advantage Robichaud here for sure. With a hammer and 2 rocks behind a center guard now.
Robichaud lost a player there, obviously.
Oh.
Bathroom call there must have been.
It happens. Top of the 8-foot, she's got rock, and Smith will be looking for a really good shot from her second stone here to get put the advantage back on her team. So that would be Sabrina Smith asks for the in-turn draw to the button area. Lots of speed on this one, I think. It's kicking into gear now. Slowing down, back 4, potentially back 8, I think. Pretty good shot. So in that probing strategy here for Sylvie, she doesn't want to get this in to get out of hand on her here, so she's going to clear out this center guard, keeping her 2 rocks in the rings and 1 red, and if she's able to do that, she can play a clean in and potentially get the 2. But she doesn't want to give up a steal here.
No. Again, that would screw up the hammer.
Pretty much. Sure would.
Sylvie wouldn't be happy.
No. So Veronica looks like she is thinking about trying to steal this end, but again wants to be cautious. She's also thinking about that front yellow rock. She doesn't want to give up a 2 or a 3 ender this end, but she has number 1 at the moment, so she's comfortable with just putting the guard on. They'll play this back and forth for a couple of rocks in this strategy mode until they somebody is offline by a little bit or a little bit long or a little bit short, and a new opportunity arises. Looks like it's going to be a tight guard, covering a little bit of yellow and a little bit of red. So it's pretty much where the previous one was. Sylvie should probably take that one off. I think she's planning to. Play it on the out-turn side of this, just in case she happened to come by it. She'd make contact with her own yellow rock.
Lots of weight.
Hmm.
Keep an eye on that center line, see if it starts moving. I think there's 3 rocks left for Veronica's. Oh, 4. It's her first mate's rock. Jane DiCarlo. I think she's being asked for the tap back this time to get rid of that yellow. That's just based on the fact that we're now in the 6th end and we don't want to give up a big end, so let's get rid of it. If we roll to the open side, it'll be okay as long as we're number 2. Maria, get your glasses ready. Get them filled up.
This one's curling a little bit. Not bad. Nice hit and roll.
Good.
Number 2.
Nice. Left.
Great shot.
Have a drink.
So now Veronica's kind of switched to a force strategy. She doesn't really... She won't mind if she steals, but she's not her direct intention at the moment. She's going to try to lie 2 and force Sylvie to 1, and that would give her the hammer, control of the game, I think, at this late stage.
The games are only 8 ends.
Mm-hmm.
If it is tied at the end of 8, obviously we will play an extra. Because, we got nothing better to do, Jeff.
Oh,
I'm going to be home before 11 o'clock. I'm happy. It was funny. I got home last night. I have a bite to eat. So I'll turn the hockey game on. And all of a sudden, then it's like 12:08. I went, okay, I got to go to bed now.
The hockey game was watching you.
Yeah. They had the late game on there, Calgary and Oilers. It's a little bit of that, but you don't as soon as you get home have to go to bed. That's sort of, My dog wanted to play for a while. I said, love to, can't. Need sleep.
Melissa made a great shot there to hit and roll in front of her other rock. And Veronica's asking Jane to remove that. Ideally remove both yellows, and potentially she'll roll out if she does. Looks like it's curling up to possibly a nose hit here.
Both of them? I'll cut one.
That's tricky to remove.
Yeah. Just want to get it going one way and roll in behind the other.
Mm-hmm. Just giving her all the options. This and that and this and that and this. And now we're going to chat about it. Sometimes it's hard to see that rock from the far end and know how you will need to hit it to roll where you want to be. So it is a good advice to come down and have a look if you have the time. It's not a timed event here. So they do have lots of opportunity to come down. And she wanted to see how much space was in between those two rocks so that she could visualize that outcome.
Mm-hmm.
Certainly easier to do when you come down and have a look at it. As a former skip as well, you know.
Well, and you see a lot more of that where the shooter is coming down, take a look, and when they walk going back down the ice, they turn around and keep looking at it. Mm-hmm. So it doesn't seem as because if you don't, you get all the way down to the far end and you get in the hack. Go, whoa,
yeah,
that's a tough shot from way up there. But like you said, visualization.
I just had that chat with my junior team this week about introduce that topic to them. You know,
good segue, huh?
Everybody, you know, maybe I threw it in there for that reason. But you know, everybody has it knows what that is essentially. But when you're coaching a younger team, help them with the concept. Sometimes I try to share with them that another tool for the toolbox.
Yeah.
Is to sit in the hack and visualize that rock path coming down, the amount of speed you're going to throw it at, where that red rock is going to roll to, where your shooter's going to roll to, and you can actually close your eyes and see it in your mind's eye of that happening. And you know, I think that's what players are doing when they look back and they have a look at the ice and they're looking at the angle and they're thinking about how do I need to throw it to make that happen? And she made a perfect shot there. Just got it by the yellow and rolled to the back four. She almost rolled a little bit behind that red guard, and that would have been perfect.
So here we are, Smith's first shot here in the sixth end. It's all tied up, 4 apiece.
So she'll be happy with a roll in either direction. Right back in front of the yellow or slightly behind her red would be nice too. Not that she wouldn't be happy with a nose hit, but she'll be a little bit more happy with a roll. This one's curling hard quickly, but it looks pretty good. They were sweeping it for the roll back in front of the yellow instead of letting that one go in there. So she's done the nose hit, and now Sylvie has that same opportunity.
And really, things are shaping up good for Sylvie to get her 2 here.
Well, it's looking promising, but it's all in how much this rock rolls when she's done with it. A rollout gives Veronica a chance to hit the pack yellow and lie 2, and she's forced to 1 at that point. So, it's like every shot seems critical.
Murphy picked up a single there to go up 6-2 at the end of 6. So things look firmly in control for the Mayflower squad. And here we are starting off the excuse me, black deck there for a second.
It's been a long weekend.
We're starting off a new end. How can we do that when there's only 3 rocks left? This is the first rock for Sylvie, for her in this 6th end. That's
So it
better.
is hanging out a little bit, and it looks like it's going to roll over, getting right in front of that yellow. Oh, well, that's not too
Okay,
bad.
Coach. What are we going to do, Coach? What are we going to do?
Well, yellow's 1 and 2 right now.
Yes.
And I think Veronica definitely has an opportunity here. There's enough space to try to make a double. And that's what she really liked to do, and she could afford to roll out trying to do it.
Yep.
Giving up 2 here, she won't be happy with.
No.
Because that would put her down 2 on the scoreboard.
So you're trying to say this is a big shot? Is that what you're
Absolutely.
trying to say, Jeff? No, go ahead. You're allowed to say it on the air.
They're all big shots.
It's just between you and me. We won't tell anyone at home. It's only the final. It's only the 6th end. It's only her last shot. Okay.
So she's coming. She's changed turns here, which throws another factor into play, where she didn't just throw the same shot. She just did, right? So she's going to try this. It may be easier to.
I have total faith in Veronica. She's been curling well. She's got it.
What we call a little inside-out slide, but it throws pretty good. It looks to me close. Well, she's pretty close. Great shot.
Never a doubt.
Great shot.
No, great shot, Veronica. Way to go. Way to make me some money.
Yeah, a little side bet.
Oh, didn't I tell you that?
Oh, gosh, no.
You got to pay attention more. No, that was a really nice shot by Smith. She's sitting 2 now, so she's forcing.
She's done the force.
Yeah, very outstanding.
And this is no easy shot here.
No.
I mean, she's got to land within 5 feet of space on the rings.
And you never know. Get a little heavy or get a little light. A steal of 2.
Mm.
Stay tuned, folks. Don't you dare change that channel.
Yeah, don't check it in the roar of the ring stuff.
No. This is where the excitement is.
Yeah, Rachel Holman's up by 7-2 or something. So.
Jeff and Keith, the entertainment value here alone would want you to stay. But here we are, final shot for Robichaud in the 6th end in the finals of the Jim Sullivan Classic here at Thistle St. Andrews.
On it mostly. They like it, but they're working hard on it now. They're starting to work on it hard, and you started to see it curl. That means it's lighter.
And the girls
I think they're going to be okay. I think.
Really?
I don't know.
No.
Wow.
I'm not. Overhead.
2 red.
We need overhead. Ooh, she's tight. But I think I'm seeing 2 red. I think that blue that yellow's on the blue a little bit more than the red is. But they could measure. I'm going out on a limb here, and whoa, she's tight. They're all just sort of.
There's a serious change lineup for sure. The suddenly at that end that seemed kind of simple, and the plan, the strategy was to get 1. Suddenly a steal of 2. So big swing. So make the
I had
last
total
2.
faith.
Yeah.
I knew Smith would get that too, and like you said, that last shot wasn't an easy shot.
They never are.
Okay, I don't want to be too heavy, but I don't want to be too light. Anyway, it is what it is, and we're going to look at Smith now. She's got the broom already. Let's go, ladies.
Oh yeah, they're
I'm
ready to
cold.
Go. They want to go. They're ready to go. So she'll want to put it right in the rings here. And,
we're done talking. Let's get playing.
Control this in, keep her to 1 max, and take the hammer coming home as her.
So that was a huge.
Yes, very.
And that's where that video is good on. Say, look at what happened.
I think
Everything
she
was in
knows what
control.
she
In
did
control,
there.
yeah. Yeah.
No, I think strategy-wise, she played the end very well. Everything was perfect. The end was open for her to draw, and that's all you ask for.
Yeah.
And it's it just happens sometimes.
Yeah. 6-4.
It looks like an easy shot to throw it to the center, but let me tell you, when you're throwing the last one,
What,
it's
but
not.
even with Smith holding her to 1,
Yeah.
would have been great.
Yeah.
But now, by her getting 2, and now hammer goes to Robichaud in 7,
Mm-hmm.
and that means Smith will have the hammer coming home.
Possibly.
Possibly.
We'll see what happens here.
Nothing's for sure in this great game.
No.
In the men's side, we after 6 ends, it's 6-2. Murphy over Talon. Wayne Talon's group out of the Capital Winter Club in Fredericton. Wayne is a great advocate of the game of curling, and he's passing on his knowledge to the next generation,
Mm-hmm.
the young guns, who are a very talented group.
They seem so. So I was going to say, the experience of this team, or any of these teams on the ice here, Sylvie, just missed a shot, but don't panic.
Oh.
It's you get 1 here or 2 here, and you tie the game.
Anything can happen.
Anything can happen. So it's all is not lost. But the important thing is to put that one away, as we said earlier, and just sort of it's a new end, new game. Maybe we get 3 or 4 here. You never know.
Yeah.
And
But it was interesting. I enjoy watching the body language of athletes. And after it get done, you could just see the stare of Sylvie going like, what just happened there? What happened there? Like, we were everything was sort of under control there. And Smith made a great double. And then, hey, but I still had my shot to, it wasn't as if she had to sneak around a guard or anything. She just had
what
it.
enters in is on your next shot, right?
Yeah.
That's how, if you throw it the same way, or you felt like you did, overcoming those things. Anyway, she has great opportunity. The Rocks are in play here. Corner guard again. Little tap back, roll over. She's got something going on. Just a straight draw, I think.
Join Vibe TV1 Scott Squires as he chats with Sir Lunny on CTV's Sideline Scoop each Monday at 8:40 a.m. Atlantic, 9:10 a.m. Newfoundland. Get up to date on Bell Aligned Vibe TV1's weekly AUS sports coverage. That's Sideline Scoop Mondays on CTV Morning Live Atlantic. Keith Rains, joined in the booth by the famous Jeff Kraft.
Jeff Stewart.
Oh, sorry.
You've had a long week.
I know Jeff Kraft, a buddy of mine, played hockey with. Yeah. So what does Kevin call it when you
Voluntold?
voluntold? I love that. So there's been a lot of voluntoling going on this
Oh,
time?
no, it was an invitation,
Okay.
for sure. And we don't mind doing this stuff at all. We enjoy coming out and watching a game and being asked to throw a few comments out. And, it's a great thing to do. So great to be here.
Well, it's like some big social events. I hear Bonner's having a great big New Year's party.
Could be.
That was just a rumor.
Started by Bonner.
No, it was actually started by Bad. Yeah, Kevin, get that one going.
So Sylvie's, they took the corner guard off, but she's got one on the rings, and she's going to put a guard up. Right now, she's ignoring those red ones. She has to gamble a little bit and take a little bit more risk, but my advice would be don't panic. Tapping and making sure you get one here is very important, right? Getting one this end. So don't cut off the 4 foot with so many guards.
I know the Island girls are having a blast out there. They're
Sure.
smiling, they're
Yeah.
slapping hands. Well, they had a picnic before the game started. So
Yeah.
how can you not be in a good mood?
And they just picked up a couple of rocks, and they're up in the
Yeah,
game. So
it's all good.
Yeah.
Life is good. They've
No,
got
good.
their sisters. They got relatives watching from home, friends, relatives watching from England. What can be? And they're on prime time.
prime time. Mhm.
And at the end of the day, there's a few dollars to be made.
Looks like it.
But we can't have that inkling into their minds during this. They just got to play one shot at a time. And right now, Robichaud's got to come back. She wants to put the pressure on them.
So Sabrina, I believe, is going to attempt the out-turn hit. Rock looks to be mostly open on the outside. That guard didn't get quite placed where she needed it. Good shot.
Get it out of there. Lots of reds in the house.
Mm-hmm. But one's behind the tee line, and that's an advantage to Robichaud.
Yeah.
If she can get a rock in front of it, she will be in a good position here.
I think that's what she's... No, I'm just... I'm doing my visualization here,
good.
Jeff. I pretend I'm throwing the rocks here. I'm a lefty, by the way.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
This
Shot,
looks
just
like
keeping it
it's
clean.
good weight, a
Yeah.
little bit of a tap back maybe. Pretty good.
Yeah.
Pretty good spot.
Nice shot.
Yeah, very good weight. Yeah, so that's moved it a couple of inches, which will allow Veronica, I think, to make a pretty firm hit. She must be able to see a little more than half, possibly, from where she is. So she's asking for soft board weight. It's got a little curling to do. Oof.
Gonna get a bite there?
Not a big one.
No. Just ticked it, though. I thought she was going to be taking out her own there for a second. And she rolls out, but let's see if he wants to get that back in there again.
Still line 3 red, I think.
Yeah. Our provincial ladies, I think a lot of them are going down to St. Andrews. They're later this month. It's a seeding tournament, but all the teams are going to provincials anyhow, but it's going to give them an opportunity to play 10 end games, just to get them physically and mentally ready for the Scotties, which will be in Moncton January 3rd to 7th. So
Will you be attending that event as well, Keith?
I'll be up in Moncton.
You're a regular curler now.
I'm a regular guy. We're going to have to transport some of you TSA guys up there. I know Thompson's be up there, so I got to snag him.
Yeah.
And now that Arnold and I are good buddies,
There you go. There's 2.
I think there's 2 right there, and maybe Jeremy will come up to support Sarah.
He might.
There's 3, and I've got their emails. But
I don't know, those Curl Moncton folks will probably be
well, hopefully
looking to help you out, I'm sure.
Yeah, it makes life so much easier when you can have experts like yourselves, knowledgeable people who've been playing, involved in curling for 25, 35 years, coaching, and it really helps the folks at home to respect and educate them on the game too, because and that's what makes it fun. Like, it's one thing to the experience comes where the action of the rocks, right?
Yeah. Well, we just point out the choices that are available. I mean, I don't see any time we watch this level of curling, I'm learning stuff all the time about what's going on. But I guess probably in where I'm familiar with the junior stuff, we always seem to always have opportunities to
nice shot.
Pass on some of that strategy. That is a great shot for sure. Nice weight. She just got by that red guard out front.
Is that the Carlo?
Yeah.
That's another drink in England.
Yeah. So she just cleared that red guard, and she needed to in order to get that rock in that right position.
She's playing really well.
Yeah.
There's a party now in England. There might have not been before, but with our new rule, every time she makes a good shot, they have to throw their drinks back.
I think she wants to get another end in before she'll.
Yes. Oh, then there's good point.
So Melissa has a challenge here to try to poke that red out. I think there might be a little space, or just to push it up just a little bit and get in position for Sylvie to.
You want to take a look at the monitor?
No, I'm good.
You're good?
Yeah. this end is shaping out to be a challenge. I mean, Sylvie's got a hammer, but would have liked to score 2 at the start of this, and Red's been really pushing on them with good shots. And right now, she'll be happy to score 1. I think just the way the end is playing out, a little mistake, and she could be in trouble. Just with that red rock right in front of the yellow, so she's really got to pull this one out. And conversely, a great shot here can set up for a possible 2. I'd say.
Well, you've got Melissa Adams, who's got loads of experience, and if anyone can do it, you got Melissa and Sylvie, 2 good, a 3-4 combination. Here it comes. She just wants
chipping that red out and rolling over.
Oh,
nice.
Beautiful shot.
Very nice shot. Very
Melissa Adams. In the men's final, Talon Rink scored 2 in the 7th to make it a 6-4 game. They're not going to go away quietly. But Murphy will have the hammer coming home. And they just started to get the rocks in play here and there at last end. Women here, we're in the 7th. Down to...
Victoria's got a challenging shot here. This is... with the way the ice curls and that long guard that's there, there's really not a lot of room to come in there with draw weight and make the shot she'd like to make, which is to lie in front of that rock.
Veronica?
I'm sorry?
Veronica?
Yes. I'm sorry, I may have spoken incorrectly.
I think you said Victoria.
I did. My apologies.
I could have been wrong too. I don't count on me for Kraft, right?
I have Victoria in my junior curling, so
Okay,
that's
there
probably
you
why
go.
that name stuck.
I
with
said
me, so.
Victoria. Wow, I thought it was Veronica. Have I been saying her name wrong?
No. Veronica. So it is. She is going for the draw here. But to me, that's a little bit of a challenging shot because of the way it curls so much in there. Those guards are, there's a hole there, but it's not a great hole because of the way it curls. And you just got to skinny by the outside yellow guard, and then just skinny by the red guard. To make the shot she'd like to make, which would be a freeze, I think it's going to curl a little bit too much for her. So I think, a positive outcome for her would be to clip that guard off, so she'll have room to come in there in the second shot. But this is a hard one. That roll by Melissa is in a great spot.
There's the first stone for Smith here in the 7th end.
I think she just has to clear this first yellow guard, and it's close. It is really close. Right there. It was very hard shot. Now she's opened it up a little bit more, so she may have a similar opportunity in her second one, but I think Sylvie would be jumping to get down there and throw one in front of the 4-foot, so she doesn't have that chance. So with this great shot by Melissa, she's kind of turned this end around for Sylvie, I think, and if they get a rock right there where she's indicating in the top 4-foot, she could score a minimum of 2 here.
Yeah, we'd be all tied up going 8. That's when the ratings go way up.
Everybody turns.
Big spike.
She's pushed that guard over now, so now there is more room to draw. Taking lots of time. Pretty critical shot here. Getting real comfortable with exactly where they want to put it. They were looking at that inside or in-turn hit and roll off the red on the other side, which is certainly a good shot, but a little bit hard. And this one, this is the best outcome, to come right in front of the 4-foot, or even just to block the path of the draw so that Veronica can't get in there.
You're good. See?
Well, I try to learn. I told you.
Try to learn. You're young. You're young still.
Well, thank you.
Now, where did you go to high school at?
I'm a local guy from Sussex.
Sussex.
Yep. Yeah.
Mike Swift country.
I know Mike very well.
I
yeah.
know.
He just retired from volleyball, I believe.
And school and teaching.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Is that right?
But Mike's wife, Ann,
Mm-hmm.
I played university volleyball with her brother, Mark,
Awesome.
at UNB.
I think he was just starting his teaching career when I was going through high school. Tells you how old I am.
Maybe you better sit down here.
Oh, this is a good-looking shot. It's curling a little bit hard, though. She might sneak in behind that red. Oh, really good-looking shot.
Nice shot, Sylvie.
Slow.
Wow. You could not go down and place it any better than that. Are you happy with that, Jeff?
I like it.
Okay.
I like it.
There you go.
Yeah, no, it's in a really good spot. The thing I can think of, though, is that I think if Veronica came down to it, she'd only could corner freeze it and be number 3. So
Because right
she
now,
probably won't be happy with that. She looks like she might be trying to have the hit and roll off the wide red.
it's because Robichaud say yellow's counting 3 now? 3.
I think so. Can I have a look there?
Yeah, you go ahead, sir.
Yeah. On this intern hit and roll, which is always a challenge, she's going to roll to the back one, the back 4 foot, if she can. It looks like a good angle to make that. This is kind of an all or nothing shot, though. She knows hits, then Sylvie will draw for 4. And that's a serious change. So this is a critical one for her.
Yep.
So we, back and forth. I
yeah.
mean, just back. If you look back in this end, we started with you said the body language of Robichaud hanging a little bit, and the other folks jumping. But Melissa made that great shot and swung it right around for them, and they're getting potentially a chance here. So we'll see what happens with this shot first.
You've got 2 outstanding ladies with a ton of experience playing together with Melissa and Sylvie, and that's got them back in here.
See what happens here, because this shot could be a great shot too. Hit and roll to the button. It looks like it's going to get some kind of roll. Yep. Great shot. Look at that. Just through the middle.
Yeah.
But Sylvie will have an opportunity here. Probably to nose hit for 3, I'm thinking.
Well, and if that's the case, I mean, if she does get 3, then she'll be up 1, but Smith will have hammer in the last.
Could be an extra hit.
Yeah, so we'll see what can transpire here in this last
Just to
shot.
extend your weekend, we're going to have an extra hit.
Well, my wife and my dog would know what to do if I got home too early. Because the funny thing is, Stacy is obviously involved in this. She teaches at the high school, and they're involved in a entrepreneurship program. So, of course, the weeks are so busy now, so they're having a meeting tonight.
Oh, yes.
So she goes, "What time are you going to be home?" I said, "Well, I think I'll be home around 6. I don't know about that. So she goes, "I have a meeting at 7. I went, "Oh, okay, great. Good. I'll see you. Let's make a date next week because we're 2 ships passing in the night this week."
Going for 4.
Yeah, it's a tough shot for 4. She would have to roll a little bit to the right, and it would probably jam on the red one in the back. So I think if she just straight nose hits and clips it off the yellow, then the red will spin out of there easily. That would leave her a 3, I think. Playing this turn, though, she's got to flirt with that yellow guard.
Lister and Bishop are on the brooms here. They're keeping it clean. They're on it.
Yeah, if it curls too far. Nice looking shot. Nice looking shot.
Lots of action.
Looks like a 3.
3, David? Yeah. 3. So Robichaud did what she had to do there.
Absolutely.
They came back strong there in the latter half of that end. And Robichaud has gone up 7-6 over Smith. We're coming home here, folks, for the 8th end. Smith with the hammer for the title and the big check, that Christmas check.
For sure. another case of all those rocks in play, and early in the end, it was all red.
Yeah.
And suddenly 3 yellows are hanging on the board. And the reason is any of those reds are in there helping you.
Yeah.
Right?
And like you said, there was one that got in behind the tee line,
Mhm.
and you don't like to see that. But anyway, there was some really nice shot making
very
there,
nice shots.
and outstanding. And all I keep thinking about is how great this is for these teams as they prepare for their own provincial championships, to play in this type of competition where every shot is important. That's what you want, right?
Absolutely. And you have to practice that, because
Yeah.
when you get to the provincial one, you happen to make it to the final. And let me tell you, there's a lot of nerves going on, and they're tight situations, and you don't want to.
Yeah.
You don't want to make a mistake, so you have to practice not making a mistake. And having a tense situation in a cash field like this in the 1st of December is good practice.
Yeah, they're shaking hands here. Jamie Murphy's team is successful in winning the championship against
Yes, he's
a
fine.
young, talented talent team.
Yes, they'll be buying lunch.
We got to get down there. So here we are into the 8th end,
Great shot.
and we'll see what unfolds here, because it can change
Great
in a
shot.
heartbeat.
So Veronica's asking Whitney to put up a corner guard here. Her strategy, of course, don't let the end get away from you. You can still score 1, go to the extra end. But let's use the corner guards to see if we can set up a 2. Great shot, nice weight. Good spot.
And what we'll do after this championship match is over with, they'll have a presentations. It's actually downstairs? Okay, so we don't have to worry about it. I guess at the tankard they brought the everything out, but they'll just do the presentations inside, so we can't get our cameras down there quick enough.
I asked about that.
Yeah.
That's all that hardware lined up on the ice in the tankard there.
Yes, yeah, we got the tables and the
Start-
cloths and the medals
you
and
start
trophies and
Seeing yourself in the briar patch and
yeah.
having a great game, and suddenly, yeah. Anyway, good center line guard here by Kendra. Veronica's going to utilize that corner guard right away, and she's going to duck in behind. That seemed to work for Sylvie last time. She ignored that center stuff. It's going to be a good end. Looks like the ice is holding up nicely. Every game this year, this weekend,
Yes.
been pretty solid. The work of Bob Metz and the ice guys, he does for us here at Thistle is just awesome. Nice shot, about half in behind. Some places where you play, you're into the 10th end, well, the 8th end here, but it's the 8th end start to stiffen up or fudge in the middle, they call it.
Mhm.
And as a sweeper, you have to be aware of where you've played and where you haven't played, and particular shots at the end of the game. But we don't seem to have that problem here right now. Great ice conditions. So Nicole's going to attempt takeout. Good shot. And roll out of the way. That's key there.
Yeah.
I think from Robichaud's perspective, you know, she's got one in the center, and anything else is just going to help out Veronica.
So Jamie Murphy takes home the big check for $5,000.
How much?
Yes. So that will help out with the Christmas gifts.
Mm-hmm. You might still have some bills to pay from PEI from a couple of weeks ago. I think he was over to the Road to the Roar, right?
Okay. Yeah. Going a
That
little
wrong,
deep.
slips a little bit deep. Yep.
Still on the line.
So this gives the Robichaud team a chance to peel off the corner guard, clean things up a little bit. The goal bishop. Looks like it's a nice clean peel.
Well, we've had a great weekend of curling here, and we had 28 teams, 18 men's teams, 10 women's teams. They're saying they could get a few more women's teams in, but I don't know if we could get all the games in, because there wasn't really a lot of empty sheets throughout the draws on day one and day two. A few sheets here and there where it might be enough room to, but the experts know how many they can accommodate and still have us home before Monday.
Mm-hmm.
But we're down to the final two with Veronica Smith and Sylvie Robichaud here.
And we could be playing some more yet. I mean, she gets this rock around this guard and right on top of that yellow rock. It's going to be interesting to finish this eighth end. This looks really close on the guard, though. They're sweeping it hard.
Yeah,
Looks
it's
a little
moving.
bit light. A little bit light.
Yeah.
Well, this will be interesting because Sylvie, the way these guards are positioned, if she was to go up and play a takeout on the red, for example, it would contact that yellow guard and then come straight back on the shot rock. And that wouldn't be beneficial.
That'd be bad.
That would be bad. So she's switching gears now and says, well, then I may as well make this better. And the better way is to put a nice tight guard or even a biter in the rings covering up her rock. And now she's changed from a defense to offense and going to attempt to force Veronica Smith's team to a 1 at a minimum and potentially steal this end and finish it. So that's some people might go up and just hit that and not realize how that rock is going to make contact and come back, and she's obviously seen that. They do funny things sometimes, but if they're set up just right.
That's my feeling.
Yeah.
I could be wrong. But we'll see what transpires here over the next...
So they put a great shot in there on the top of the 4-foot, tucked in behind guards. And Veronica Smith needs to scramble these things around a little bit in order to open it up so she can even score this end. She needs to score 1 to tie the game. So she's going to make contact with that red rock and potentially either drive it just past that red rock onto the number 2 rock or just rattle the guards around, and we'll see what happens with that red. It should come straight back almost. Lots of weight on this one. Here it comes. Kissed it. Ooh.
Yeah. So, Coach, will we put another guard back up there quickly?
Oh, I think that's what she'll probably choose to do. She's got two good rocks here in the, a pivotal, what they call the control zone, or what Linda Moore used to call the control zone. Top of the 4-foot, top of the 8-foot. She's in charge of that right now. And the way it's looking if you were throwing the last red rock, where would you throw it? You got to go to the edge of the button to win it.
Yeah.
And
Tough.
so let's put a guard on it, right? Make your shots easy, their shots hard. Is the strategy. So an easy one to me seems like throw a guard.
Yeah, and you've got a good person doing it, Melissa Adams,
Mm-hmm.
who made some big shots there in N7 to turn that end around.
For sure. She wants to get this lined up more than anything else, just to cover the line, cover that top rock so that it can't make the double. Well, I think Veronica can see a piece of that, and I think two schools of thought again. Try to keep the middle. Potentially you have a chance to make contact with those rocks. It might be a good time to try to rattle it.
Yeah.
But she's going to go with the run back again. She just threw this one, so Jane will have another chance to run it basically in the same spot. She might clear all 3 yellows if she hits it right. Looks to be a bit out.
Oh.
Just that last
Yeah.
motion as she put the turn on the rock, she
Yeah,
just
she-
set it a little bit out, and call that popping it out, or just sets it a little bit straighter and it doesn't have the curl finish. Wish I could learn to do that, because I throw it the other way and it starts curling right away. But we all have our player tendencies, so.
And now we're up to Skip Stones.
Another guard. Seems
Yeah.
simple right from this perspective.
Oh, it's an easy game up here.
Sure. Have you missed a shot all weekend, really?
No. I'm awesome. Just take this 6'4" body and put it on a sheet of ice. It's like Bambi on ice. It's pretty ugly. But I'm always impressed when you see them starting out the game. They're warming up and they get in the hack and they push off and they slide all the way down the ice. No, I don't make it to the hog line. Knees back.
Yeah, I used to be able to go all the way there, but knees down. So again, Sylvie's going to try to put an ice guard center line, near the center line, covering most of that rock. Don't leave a hole. Don't want to do that, but you can cover a good half of that number 2 rock. It's a good spot. See, this is where this one's end up, but potentially Veronica might choose to run that red angle in towards those yellows. That would be my choice, because
a little easier.
Well, and potentially you might stick it, right? If you hit the number 2 rock, for example, and roll over here, it becomes your red would stay on the rings. It's a lot better than running the yellow back, right?
Yep.
And the other thing that it would do is that opened up both sides of the rock, both sides,
Yes.
for the draw.
Okay.
Right now, she can only draw on the out-turn side.
Okay.
And
I'm liking it, Coach. I'm liking it.
well, she's choosing to run the yellow one back because she feels that's safer. But what's going to happen? The other team's going to put it right back there.
Yeah.
And she's got to make this run back. But an alternative choice, one to think about, would be to angle that red one towards those yellows. And there's 2 of them there, so if you rattle, if you can move that shot right near the button,
and you're hitting your own in.
you're hitting
At
your
least
own
you're
in.
putting one your.
So
we'll see what transpires here.
If I was taking a coaching timeout, I'd suggest that one to them. I wouldn't say that's what you have to do, but that's a suggested shot.
So here we go. First shot
She did a little bit
for
of that
Veronica.
did a little bit of that in-out motion as well. So it's running a little bit on the outside of that rock.
Yeah. No, same result 3 times.
Sure. So as coaches get to say, "I told you so."
I told you.
She didn't make the shot she planned to make, and
Now
she
it's-
cleared it. But there's a pretty good chance there's going to be another yellow
Yeah.
guard put right back where it was.
And now she's got a
And
real
you'll
tough
have-
shot to finish off here, just to tie.
Just to tie. She's going to be looking at angling one
Yeah.
of those reds in there anyway, probably, because drawing to the button and the edge of the button and getting maybe 2 inches of that button is definitely doable, but quite a challenge.
Yeah. Once again, we'd like to a big thank you to our sponsors, Thistle St. Andrews, the World Financial Group, Molson Coors, and of course the support of the Canadian Mental Health Association and all the many volunteers here at Thistle St. Andrews for putting on another quality event, which everyone looks forward to. I guess there was a waiting list this year for teams that wanted to get into this event, and as it is a great prelude before provincial competition championships for these teams.
So this guard didn't quite curl as much as the other one, so I think she may have left an opportunity.
Now she's, but boy, those yellow stones are sitting in good spots.
Well, there is an opportunity with like a board weight double maybe, but it's not easy. Or she's indicated looking at that angle raise of the red. I think she's dismissed the possibility of drawing. So in order to make this shot, if she does make this angle red, she can't come in contact with the number 2 rock. It's got to go straight back on the shot rock and stick there. Doesn't have a lot of room to roll, but there is a couple of inches.
And I guess getting back to the previous shot, if we had eliminated that red one that they're looking at now, it would have gave her a good angle to come in on.
Exactly, yeah. I mean,
depending what the red one did. I mean, the red one could be sitting.
Could be on the range
in the floor.
It could be.
But if that's the case, Sylvie would do something different. But anyway.
Oh yeah. Well,
I digress.
I mean, it's the choices you make and things that happen. You never know what's going to happen sometimes. So. They're really looking at that angle.
Yeah.
It's the only shot, I think, or the best outcome for her is to angle that back. And the draw is really, really hard to get a piece of that button.
Yeah.
A better piece than what's there already, if you could even do it.
Well, and this what a great experience is to have this opportunity. That's what it is, and you want that because, hey, this is a tournament.
Sure. Right?
It's not, you're not in Scotties, you're not going, but this is what you come to play for, and to try to make big shots like this.
Yeah, you can tell stories about it for years.
Yeah. So let's see what happens here. Robichaud 7-6 over Smith here in the 8th end. Smith has final stone here, looking for one to tie this match up and to send it to extra. Let's see what happens.
Possibly a little bit of a start of the throw, I think. Got it curling. They're holding it out there, though. It's going to be close. Definitely close.
Got the hit, got the tap.
Wow.
Does it? Nice try.
Very nice.
Great effort. Great effort. A steal of one for Robichaud, and she takes home the championship 8-6 on a very entertaining championship match here at the 6th annual Jim Sullivan Classic here at the Thistle St. Andrews Curling Club.
Thanks very much, Keith. I appreciated being here and watching this great game. It's back and forth, and thanks very much for all you've done for the event this weekend.
Well, Jeff, we thank you for your commentary and all the support that we get here. We enjoy coming to Thistle because we always know that we're going to have great folks up in the booth with us, giving their expert knowledge and opinion, and also some banter. The banter is very important. But what a great weekend. The two champions, Jamie Murphy from the Mayflower Club in Nova Scotia, takes home the championship, and Sylvie Robichaud steals one in the last end to solidify her victory 8-6 over Veronica Smith of PEI. So that's it for this year. From Thistle St. Andrews, this is Keith Rains signing off, and have yourself a very Merry Christmas.